Kali Training Journal Day 239, Learning 64 Forms, Section 1 to 6. Do you ever find those moments where you're just not quite sure? There's not a lot of clarity and you're trying to figure it out as you go. And it seems like everything you add on top of that just makes it more confusing and unclear. Do you find that when you gain clarity, it's easier to understand and remember what comes next? The next steps in your process or the next actions that you need to take? That's exactly what today's practice was all about. It was about making sure that there was clarity before I moved on. You might be asking, well, Georgia, you have talked about challenging yourself and pushing yourself to make sure that you're learning and you're pushing your limits. Well, yes, that's absolutely correct as well. Knowing all of these different forms and how they go together correctly has definitely been a challenge. But I've also reached a point where I didn't practice at all yesterday. I was feeling ill and it was more important for me to take care of myself. So I didn't get a physical practice in yesterday. Today was about making sure that I'm really solid on 1 to 6 before I move forward. Now, this does not mean that 1 to 6 is perfect. It doesn't mean that everything is done correctly. What I mean by this is that before I add on top of what I already know, I want to make sure that I am prepared to add more knowledge to what I already have. It's important to recognize when you need to slow down and when racing forward is important. This is about making a decision, sticking to it, and then watching for the correct timing. Had I added on to today's practice, still feeling a little bit unsure about where I was at and if the movement was correct or not, yes, I probably could have. However, I chose to make sure that these sections 1 to 6 are solid in my mind, that I know what comes next and there's not hesitation, so that I'm not questioning myself as I learn the last 2 sections. Tomorrow, I'll take on section 7, and the following day, I'll take on section 8. You have to be aware enough of yourself to recognize when you need to pause. There is strength in the pause, in your learning, in your speech, in actions, in decision making. Watching for the proper timing is so important. That's what today was about, watching for that timing. Making sure that I felt good about 1 to 6 so that I can move forward with confidence. In my work, there's a lot of uncertainty, and not uncertainty in whether or not I'll have the job, but uncertainty in certain changes that have come recently. And so I needed a foundation today. I needed something that I could rely on, and Kali became that for me. As it usually is, Kali is a grounding or an anchor for me to fall back on when other areas of my life might feel chaotic. When I feel chaotic inside, or when there's a lot of uncertainty. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.